Who are you?
Whoever you want me to be.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
It's feeling epic.
3 words. 8 letters.
I remember everything.
Hello. Welcome back to Previously on Teen TV. We have a very special episode for you today. I know I say this at the beginning of every app, but this one is very special today, Claire.
We've been waiting to record this episode for the right moment.
Yeah.
For the right framing. And the day has finally come.
The day has finally come for us to talk about One Tree Hill.
Yes.
This is like my Super Bowl. This is my state championship. This is Nathan making it to the NBA finally.
Wow.
I mean...
That's what put it over.
Yeah. Claire cannot believe the excitement that's coming from me right now.
I can because I've known you and I've known your love for this show for many years.
Yes, I have a deep, unhealthy relationship with this show. Like, I think I should be studied a little bit.
You are the definition of the word fanatic.
Yes. This show is what made me discover that, like, I'm a fangirl.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, I'm already stumbling. I'm just too excited.
She's so overwhelmed by her love for One Tree Hill that she doesn't have the words.
I'm in my Nathan Scott jersey today.
Yes, number 23.
I feel like I'm dressed today like how I dressed in high school to go to a basketball game. Like, I'm in a jersey, leggings, and Uggs. Like, it is literally like me going to high school basketball.
It's 2003 all over again.
So yes, I am fully addicted to One Tree Hill.
Mm-hmm.
This was like my show in middle school and high school. This show, I had such a deep obsession with this show.
Yeah.
Like, it went deep. I was, as I've mentioned before, on the forums. You might have seen me as OTH Baller 23. I made a PowerPoint presentation once to try to go to the mall tour of One Tree Hill.
Oh my God.
But I had to skip my sophomore year homecoming. And my parents were like, I don't think you should do that. Like, you'll regret it.
Did you regret it?
And no, I don't remember that homecoming. And yet here I am on a podcast talking about One Tree Hill. Like, I wish I went to the mall tour.
Right. Sometimes kids know best.
I know.
Yeah.
So I also was an extra on the show 3 times.
I've seen the apps, guys.
I was an extra because of my love of the show. Like, So I've done the Wilmington tours. I'm an OG watcher. I watched while this was on the air. I started becoming obsessed with it when I was in... I'll never forget, the 7th grade.
Yeah, tell us your origin story.
My origin story is I started watching it. My mom actually started watching it first. And then she was like, oh, like, let's like watch this show together. And I had seen like clips and stuff before. But it was when I was just like bored at home and like, oh, what's this? Like, and you put it on and then maybe you didn't watch it again the next week. But then my mom put it on and it was season 1 finale. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Mind you, I didn't even know really everything that was going on.
No,
I was somewhat confused, but it ends on the wedding cliffhanger of Nathan and Haley. High schoolers get married, and I was like, how does that work? Like, I need to know more. Then fully obsession begins.
Okay.
And I'm a weekly watcher for season 2. Then the season 1 DVD comes out.
Right.
And then I get to watch all the episodes I miss. And I'm obsessed with that DVD. Like, I watched it so much.
Yeah.
Again, like, I should have been studied.
I mean, you picked this as your number 1 teen show in our top 10 episode.
Well, I had to because it's like I was so obsessed with it. That I couldn't not put it as my number 1. And like, do I think it's like the best well-written teen show out there? No. But there is something about this show. You get so into the characters. You become like obsessed with their journeys. You become so like ingrained in like this town. I think that there's just something about it, and there's something about like the moments on the show, like music moments, but also just like really tender, like emotional moments that felt really real.
Yeah.
And I just think that was a home run for me.
Yeah, this show has a lot of moments where the writing is really like sort of philosophical
Yes,
almost.
100%.
Where it's talking about like life and it's pulling in quotes from literature and it's like sort of taking a step back at like the big picture of the world and what's your place in the world and who you are and what your relationships mean with everyone around you. And so I think that show does a really good job of like making you as like a teenager like think about like who you are and who you want to be and like what does life mean in like a fun soapy way.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, like I think that is what the magic of the show is. Is like they really kind of made you like think about life and your relationships and like your place in the world and like your journey after high school. Like that was a big theme of the show during the high school years. And just kind of like who you wanted to be as a person. And I think I just found that so fascinating and interesting. And you're mixing that in with like these like soapy moments and like makeups and breakups and love triangles and car crashes.
So many car crashes.
And that formula worked on me.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. By recently, I mean in the past couple of years, I rewatched the entire series.
Yes.
So because I was very into it, you know, when it was airing on TV, the high school years, and I still watched like regularly until like season 6. And then I went to college and the show changed as well. So I kind of fell off of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I rewatched all 9 seasons of the show, finally finished the whole thing. And wow, what a journey that is. What a journey.
A lot goes on in 9 seasons.
A lot of years pass.
Yes, there are a lot of time jumps.
A lot of time jumps. A lot of characters that come in and out of the show. A lot of deaths. Like there are 9 seasons and it is just like a wild ride. I don't know how else to describe it.
For sure.
So we thought the best way to like bring in a One Tree Hill app was to rank all 9 seasons of the show.
Yeah.
And we'll explain why we put that season where and whatnot. But because, you know, this show is just like, if you watch the pilot of the show and then the final episode, you're probably like, what? Like it's so different from beginning to end. And the show jumps the shark about 20 times maybe.
Man, does it ever.
But that's why you gotta love it.
Yeah.
That's like part of the magic of this series. And we also gotta say, like, a teen show that lasts 9 seasons that was threatened to be canceled, I think, about every season. Like, I was signing petitions for this show to stay on the air. I just cannot believe it had that many seasons.
I mean, I really thought, I was like, oh, when the high school years are done, they should end it. And then they hung on for 2 more seasons. And then, you know, Lucas and Peyton leave. And I was like, they should end it. And then we squeezed 3 more seasons out after Lucas and Peyton left the show. And diminishing returns on those 3 seasons.
Well,
but we'll talk about.
We'll see.
We'll see. We do get some great moments. But yeah, it is. It's so. I don't want to say impressive, but it's really like it's kind of like hard to wrap your head around.
It's
and
impressive
lot of, like,
what they did with it.
Guest stars come in, like people from that you know from other things. Like they brought
Kevin
in
Federline.
Oh my god.
Bet you forgot about that one.
I sure did. I was going to say Joe Manganiello, but
that one too. Yes. Good ones. Both season 5.
Yes, lots of. Well, they had to keep it interesting, so they brought in a lot of people that you know from other properties, other things, or people that would become famous later on. Anyway. Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today.
We do. I'm excited to dive into it. So should we do it?
Yeah,
should we start? Don't look at my list,
I'm not
Claire.
looking. I can't read upside down.
So we each ranked all 9 seasons of the show. So we're going to start from worst to best, and we'll each go through our list. So I'll start.
Okay.
Because I'm the bigger fan.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like, should we also say that Claire likes and watches the show?
I like and watch the
Claire
show.
conceding.
Yes,
I just keep talking.
No,
I'm
listen,
sorry.
Jillian is the bigger fan. This is her show. This is her obsession. You were in it, and I think you stuck with it longer than I did. I started watching from the beginning. I watched this show from the pilot. And then about midway through season 3, I stopped watching. I just got busy or stopped caring. I don't know.
The best part.
You know, I know. I did. I missed some of the best stuff in season 3, but stopped watching midway through season 3. And then actually when I was in college, I think I got the DVDs, started back from the beginning, and then jumped in to season 6. So like I
nice.
started
Okay.
watching season 6 not knowing what had happened in seasons 4 and 5.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But then I got the DVDs, I went back, I caught up, and then by season 7 I was all up to date and I stuck with it through the end.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to my mom as well, who watched all 9 seasons of the show as it aired on TV.
Wow.
Like, was she a bigger fan than me?
We gotta get a call on the line.
I know. I mean, literally every week she stuck with it.
God bless her.
Hats off to her.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask her for her ranking.
Yeah.
But I will say what was interesting of when I was like coming up with my list of rankings of the season, I do think that my list, if I wrote this when I was like 15 or during my height of like the fandom of the show, I think I would have written it differently than I did now.
Yeah.
So it was interesting writing it now and being like, I cannot believe I put that there. Like, so should we get into it? Should we start it?
Let's kick us
and
off.
stop teasing it.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start off, like I said, worst to best. So 9 seasons of the show. For me, number 9. So this is what I think the worst season of One Tree Hill is. Season 8.
Okay.
For me. This season was, I wish it was wackadoo. Nothing really happens in this season for me.
I beg to differ.
I don't think there's enough drama. I thought it felt a little like Seventh Heaven. Like we're bringing in Jamie and his friends. Like why is this like 7-year-old and his friends having storylines? That to me was confusing. Haley's only storyline is that she's pregnant like that season, and like that's about it. I do think we get some good holiday eps actually this season. Like I like the Thanksgiving ep where they're all together. Which we've never gotten before on the show. I also love Brooke's wedding this season. I'm happy that Brooke got her happy ending, and I thought her wedding episode was a very good episode this
great
season.
episode.
But overall, like this season did not do it for me. And it's like too many episodes of just not much going on.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I agree there's not a ton going on in season 8, but I liked it better than you. I had it ranked number 6.
Oh my. This is already going to be interesting.
I told you. Yeah, producer Jessie was concerned that our list would match up, and we both said no.
I said absolutely not. I know it's not going to.
Yeah.
I was like, Claire's going to do something crazy.
Me!
We've already done it. We're 15 minutes in.
Brooke and Julian get married. I love Brooke and Julian as a couple. Their wedding is very sweet.
Yes.
Haley, yes, pregnant, but I kind of like it's like better than like the season before where she's depressed about her mom dying. We'll get into
I
that.
like that storyline. But
like,
yeah,
I
get
like
what
that
you-
Nathan and Haley have a baby.
Yeah, they're like very sweet all season. It's all very sweet.
It also, yeah, we get to see Quinn and Alex kind of become friends after butting heads.
Oh yeah, I like the Bachelorette episode
Yeah.
too. Yeah, where they're become friends.
Yeah, the ending jumps forward a little bit to where Brooke and Julian have twins, which is great.
Yeah.
Like after her long journey with motherhood, we get to see them have babies. There's a really great episode with the hurricane episode in season 8.
Right, I do like that episode.
That's a great
I mean,
episode.
it is kind of wild.
Oh, it's wacky.
Brooke like basically dies, and then Julian revives her.
Yes.
all while this child is watching the entire time.
And again, a car crash off a bridge in the middle of a
know.
hurricane. It's
insane.
Their track record they love a car crash on One Tree Hill.
they love like water on
Yes.
this show. Like water is a big theme.
Oh yeah, but like that episode had me on the edge of my seat.
No, I would agree with that. I just think overall, like this season wasn't it. It feels very like, there's not enough drama for it to be One Tree Hill for me.
Yeah, they did have like I think maybe too many episodes to fill, and they didn't quite know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. They ordered too many.
Yeah,
Too many that year. That could have been a solid 13.
Yeah.
But I respect your, opinion on having it be number 6.
Wow, the judgment in her eyes right
Wild to
there.
me.
Oh, listen, I like to zag.
I know.
Okay, so for my worst season,
Okay.
in 9th place, I went with season 9.
Okay,
Because-
that's number 8 for me. So we're on
Okay.
similar. Oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. That is number 7 for me.
Okay, so still low-ish.
Okay.
Season 9 is shorter, which is fine. It's too much drama for me, and it's
Okay.
too sad. It's like It's some sad, like Nathan gets kidnapped by some Eastern European men. He's not there half the time. They have to rescue him, and then Dan dies in the rescue, and that's absurd. What else? What's his face? The villain guy who killed Quentin. He comes back and is like
Xavier. Xavier's back.
He's back, and he's just allowed to roam free and is stalking Brooke.
Yeah.
Julian leaves his child in a hot car.
Okay. That storyline was like too much.
And
that was sad.
That was tough. And
that
then
was
it causes
rough.
like issues in his marriage because she's, like it's just too much for me. I will say I did appreciate the flash forward in the series finale. I thought that was lovely. I thought they did a great job ending the show. But the rest of season 9, it's like, fuck, this is depressing.
It is a lot of drama. Like, you're definitely right with that. So season 9 for me, I have as number 7. I think I have it higher than you in the sense of I kind of liked all the drama elements because I was so bored during 8. Like, I needed some like high level drama. Like, is it ridiculous the Nathan getting kidnapped thing? 100%. But I do think that this scene where he is rescued and in the hospital and then Haley comes running in and he says, hi, Hales. Like,
And she says, say that again.
Yeah, that
It's
is
so good.
one of the best scenes for me, like in the entire series.
It's good.
So I really love that. I also like in season 9, because it's the last season of the show and they knew it was going to be the last season, they bring back a lot of references to, season 1 and early One Tree Hill. They have Karen's Cafe reopening, which I really love. Like, Chris Keller comes back.
I kind of love Chris Keller comes back.
Exactly. And like, I think too, the series finale episode I really loved. It's a lot of references like old One Tree Hill. And it like goes back to what we were saying about it kind of being like philosophical and like everything comes full circle. Everyone's happy in the end. So I think that for that reason, that season is a little bit higher for me.
Okay, that's fair.
But you're not wrong that it's a little wacky.
It's
High drama.
It's
high drama.
Yeah, real dark.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what is your number 8?
Okay. So my number 8 is season 7.
Okay.
So this is the season where Peyton and Lucas are gone and we get Quinn and Clay, which did not really do it for me. I actually do like that they brought in 2 characters though who like make sense in the world. Like Quinn is Haley's sister, like a main character. Like Clay is Nathan's basketball agent. I did think that they made sense in the world. I just couldn't really care about them that much, and I thought they threw them together way too quickly and like had them together like the entire time. So I think that season like just fell a little short for me, maybe because it was so different and I don't like change. There's some things I like I like that we get to see Nathan in the NBA finally. Like, that's fun. Like, they're rich, got a new home. I do like the Haley depression storyline later on in season 7. Like, I thought it was like an interesting storyline and people weren't really talking about depression on TV that much yet. So I was just happy Haley had a storyline. I mean, she barely had a storyline outside of Nathan for several seasons. But I just think it was like so many new characters at once and there wasn't a lot of like build up enough of these characters. They were just in the world. You gotta like them. We're throwing them at you. Too much.
I mean, I liked it just slightly better than you. I had season 7 ranked number 7.
Okay, so we're not too far off from each other so far.
I agree with all the reasons you didn't like it. I literally wrote the same things down. I put it a little bit higher because I think that it had a really strong season finale, and I still remember it. A lot happens in the season finale, a lot of good cliffhangers that I really enjoyed. And I also like, this was so minor, but I really loved like the Miranda and Grubbs like side storyline. It's so small, but I thought it was cute.
Again, I just wanted them to like lean in more to those characters. Yeah. But I did like Miranda and Grubbs, but I'm just like, what is your purpose?
I agree. Like they don't make an impact, either one of them. They're just sort of there as like a musical distraction.
I liked Grubbs songs.
I love Grubbs songs. I love that album. I listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
The other things that I didn't really love about season 7, Nathan would never cheat.
Oh my God, I forgot to bring that up.
We all know that. And so it was like when they were trying to like make that a thing, like I feel like everyone watching is like, this is like, he didn't cheat. He wouldn't cheat.
Okay, I completely forgot to bring that up.
Yeah.
Like, that is why I hate this season, because it is such a weird storyline of this woman accuses Nathan of
Having an affair.
And she's pregnant.
Right.
And Nathan the whole time is like, I didn't do this. And then, like, it's just a very weird storyline
It's
of
so
like,
dumb.
oh, this woman is lying about what happened.
Right.
And it's just gross.
It's gross.
It's
and then
so gross.
The other part about that is that it further denigrates Rachel Gattina.
Yes.
We get Rachel Gattina. Like, we love Rachel seasons 3 and 4. She comes back and we learn that, you know, she stole from Brooke and blah, blah, blah. And so, like, that sucks that they denigrate her character in that. And then they further do it when she returns in season 7. She's married to Dan.
Yeah.
They're hosting this weird talk show.
It's so bizarre.
And then we find out that Dan is trying to expose this woman as a liar about faking the affair and the pregnancy. But Rachel wanted to make it, she wanted to like fake the paternity test results because it would mean bigger ratings or something like that.
I forgot about the Rachel part.
Yeah, Rachel was part of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you ruining Rachel Gattina? She was such a good character. She had such a great arc. And then the later seasons, when she was not a regular anymore, they're just like, she's just a scapegoat.
Let's just throw you in here, cause some drama. She does have a great line, though, that season that she says to Jamie, like, oh, I remember when you were a rumor in study hall.
Yes.
Something like that. It's so good. But yeah, the Nathan cheating storylines, like, just stop.
Yeah.
Like, they never worked. It didn't really make any sense. And I was just really, really over that. Like, stop trying to make a Nathan cheating storyline happen. It's never gonna happen.
No, we're never gonna buy it.
Time and time again. Like,
He is a loyal husband.
yes, and let him be that.
Yeah.
Like, bring in other drama, not that. Wow, I got fired up about that. I'm glad that you brought that up because I literally, like, that was my main point of why I hate season 7 and I forgot. Okay.
So my number 8 was season 5.
Oh, interesting. That's my number 5.
Wow.
I know. That was my big shocker. Yeah.
Okay. I think season 5 is so boring. It's the season after they graduate high school in season 4. We get a 4-year time jump. So they're just out of college and we're sort of meeting them as adults in the world for the first time. All of them have ridiculous success, which is so unrealistic for like 21, 22-year-olds. Like, Lucas has a book published. Nathan was like drafted. Like, they're all successful and it's just like, none of this is real. Nathan is angry and drunk for a lot of the season and wheelchair bound for part of it too, which is like
wheelchair bound.
I'm sorry, I phrased that incorrectly. That was bad on my part. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He's in a wheelchair at the beginning of the season because he injured his back.
Well, he was thrown through a glass wall. It wasn't just a back injury.
Right. But sure. The biggest...
Sorry he's sad about being thrown through a glass wall right after he got drafted.
I just, he's allowed to be sad, but I was bored. He's sad and...
So...
He's mean to Jamie. It's a bummer.
I know.
The other thing, the biggest, penalty I have against season 5 is Lindsay.
Okay. Lindsay hater.
I mean, she's just like, you just never buy for a second that she is going to end up with Lucas.
I know.
And her whole purpose is to be an obstacle between Lucas and Peyton.
Yeah.
That's her
and
whole
this
point.
goes on all season.
Yes,
too.
her entire... Like, they go through, they're getting married. And we're just like, no, like, this isn't going to happen. Nobody buys it. It's such a waste of time.
So I get that. I respect your opinion.
We're going to hear a lot of, I respect what you're saying.
Yeah, I do. Well, so I put season 5 as number 5 on my list.
Okay.
And I understand that is controversial. Like, I think this is controversial amongst like the whole entire fandom. But I think that what I like about this season is that it is focused on the 5 main characters, actually. Like, I think sometimes in One Tree Hill, they bring in these other characters and they give them big storylines that I just don't really care about. And I like that season 5, we really bring it back just to those 5 characters and their journeys and what they're going through. And we see them all like hanging out together and all like coming together and like being friends. And I think though too, I like the high drama that was brought in with Naylee and with Lucas and Peyton, because like they were all so happy in season 4, like not much relationship drama was really going on. And then I kind of like that in season 5, they kind of like turned it on its head a little bit. And we see, you know, both couples going through struggles. I like the angst of season 5. Like, I think I kind of like that, like, with Lucas and Peyton, we saw them get together just kind of like randomly in season 4. There was not enough buildup for me. It was like they kiss at the state championship game. Oh, we're together and we're happy and all this stuff. And then, so I think in season 5, I like that they're apart but are still kind of trying to hang out and like seeing if they can be friends, and Peyton's still in love with Lucas and Lucas is going to marry Lindsay. Like, I like that latent angst, and I think that we like needed that because I think that's how we started with them.
Okay.
And I wanted to see that. I mean, look, I don't like Nanny Carey, but did I like the drama that was brought and how ridiculous it was? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought it was, I think that like this season does just get a lot of flack, but I think what they did with the time jump too, which was like unheard of at that time, was really interesting. Like, I like that we jumped forward with these characters and we didn't see those college years. Like,
No, that was smart.
and we saw them all like being able to come together instead of seeing them all separate. And I know it is totally ridiculous that, like, you know, Lucas wrote this great book and Nathan was drafted in the NBA, but now he's not there. And Brooke has this amazing, successful clothing line. Like, but I think, like, I like watching characters, like, have success. Like, because then it just makes me feel like I could have that too or something. Like, I don't want to watch them, like, bartending at, like, Trick and that's their life. You know what I mean? Like, especially, like, if they all had this big success in high school, which I know is ridiculous, but I think I liked it.
Okay. All right. I wrote down the best part of season 5 is that Jamie is cute.
He is so cute in season 5.
He's adorable in season 5.
Like, that kind of makes you want to have a kid if you're watching that. Like, he is so cute. And then he starts to get less cute as it goes
Yes,
on.
that's
but,
correct.
Which makes sense.
As what happens.
Right.
Exactly.
Kids grow up and they get a little less cute. They go through
Yeah.
some awkward. Yeah.
I thought they used him in a really good way in season 5.
Yes, he was used sparingly and to enhance the other storylines. He like you said, he wasn't getting his own storylines at that age. He was just like part of, you know, Nathan's distress and Haley's, you know, trying to become an adult and etc.
Yeah, so that's my rant on season 5.
Okay.
Now
Great.
it's your turn.
Okay, my number 6 is season 6.
Okay.
I know season 6 is going to be higher for you. Isn't it?
Actually, I only had season 6 at 5, but I'm kind
okay.
of honestly. Part of me wanted to put it a little higher, but I just couldn't do it. But I like season 6 more than you a little bit.
Well, I had to put 5 before 6 because I think I remembered more moments from season 5 than season 6.
Oh.
Like, season 6, like, is a little unforgettable for me. I think it's a good season, but like, I think that like there's just, the group is very solid in season 6, like together.
Yeah.
Which I do like after all the drama from season 5. But I think I just maybe like wanted a little more for this season. Like, I do like the Lucas and Peyton, you know, we see them get married. We see them, you know, have a baby and all that drama that brought. Nobody can have a good pregnancy in One Tree Hill. Everybody needs to be near death as they're about to give birth.
Yeah.
Which is wild. But like, I just think it's like a little bit of a forgettable season for me. And that might be because I am very obsessed with Nathan and Haley on this show. That is like my number one thing on this show. Like, I am the biggest Nathan and Haley fan. Like, don't even try and think that you're more than me. So, and I think that like they don't have much drama this season and many like storylines. So like, that's why it's a little bit unforgettable or forgettable to me.
See,
so, if I'm being honest, you know.
We want honesty. I remember season 6 a lot more. I think it's because that's when I came back into the show.
Right. Okay.
So I was sort of almost watching it with fresh eyes, and I mean, I love it. Like, Lucas and Peyton finally get together, as you said. We get at the end, Nathan finally gets called up to the NBA, which is a moment.
Well, that's my favorite moment, maybe of the entire series. Like, I remember watching that when it aired and just like tearing up of like he finally did it. Like he made it to the NBA. It's a beautiful scene.
Yeah,
like
it's so
he's
good.
tearing up, she's crying, they hug. Like it is just such a sweet moment. And after like everything that he went through with like the injury and being partly paralyzed, like being able to walk again and going through that, like he just went through so much and like he did it. And it's just such a moment.
Yeah. I think I remember a lot of moments from this season. So like we get Julian is introduced in this season, which like his whole backstory with Peyton is a little silly, but like we move on from that so quickly. We're like, oh, it's fine. He's her ex, but he's not there to get her back. He's not there to ruin anything. He's really just there for the book and for the movie.
Right.
And he's integrated into the cast that way. He's got this flirtation with Brooke, which is really fun.
That is fun. I like Julian coming in. I also really like Julian this season.
He's great this season.
He falls for me later on in the series a little bit. Like I just feel like the character kind of gets goofy and changes.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with him, so they make him like sort of silly
But Julian is hot in season 6.
He's great in
and
season
you're
6.
like, I love the thing with him and Brooke. Like, and it's a lot of like, because we have these other stable like couples that are more stable now in the show, so it is fun to watch Brooke and Julian this season where they're like flirty and like, you know, will they, won't they? It's just like fun. It was needed.
I love that. I love when the cameos from James Vanderbeek.
Oh, I love that episode.
It's so great when James Vanderbeek comes in as this like asshole movie director. That I love. And he says, and I say this to myself out loud all the time when he's leaving and he's like, we didn't make the movie, and he says the beauty is in the attempt. And I will say that I don't know why, it's such a silly like pithy line, but I say that to myself all the time. I'm like, the beauty is in the attempt. You tried.
Yeah, that's the magic of One Tree Hill.
We also get like the philosophical elements coming in.
The most philosophical show.
Apparently.
We also get so like when Quentin died, that funeral episode, I sobbed, and I didn't even know who he was, because again I was just jumping in, so I didn't realize he had been a bigger character previously, but I was like weeping over that episode. I still weep over that episode. It's so well done.
It's really, really sad, and so like out of nowhere he dies, and it's just like, you know, Quentin, I feel like, was like a beloved character too, and I really thought he was going to actually stick around, and then they kill him off, which apparently was because there was like contract negotiations that went wrong with the actors. So like that sucks that like they couldn't work that out, because I think he would have been a really good regular for like the rest of the series. But yeah, his funeral episode is so upsetting.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, we get maybe one of my favorite like camp moments in the show, which is Nanny Carey chasing Haley and Jamie through a cornfield.
Oh my God.
It's absurd, and I love it.
Deb hits her with the bottle and says, there can only be room for one crazy nanny in this town, bitch, or something like that.
It's great.
It's so camp.
Right.
It's
and then
so camp.
She gets up. She's not dead, because it's like they're going full horror movie in this episode.
Yeah, they are.
So then Dan has to shoot her dead.
Classic.
But that's why I love season 6, and it's number 5.
You know, you are kind of like switching my tune about it. I mean, I know I didn't have it much lower than you, but I gotta stand by my season 5. You know,
hold on to that. You know,
yeah.
Stay true to you.
We are up halfway through all of the rankings. So should we recap where we're at?
Yeah, let's recap. Give us a good recap, producer
surprisingly,
Jessie.
you all had the same 5 episodes in your 5.
I knew this would happen.
Bottom 5.
It's because these are the non-high school episodes.
Yes.
Or
so
seasons.
And I said this. I'm like, we're going to have the high school years in the top 4 and the non-high school years in the bottom 5.
So that it worked out fairly well in that. So we have each of your bottom 5 through 9. So Jillian's number 9, starting at 9 and going up, is season 8 at number 9, season 7 at number 8, season 9 at number 7, season 6 at number 6, and season 5 at number 5. Claire has season 9 at number 9, season 5 at number 8, season 7 at number 7, and season 8 at number 6, and season 6 at number 5. So now we're up to the top 4.
Now we're into the high school
Yes.
seasons. That is funny that we both had the later seasons.
I know. And
I mean, it's like that's just
the show
what it
was
is.
different. The show
Yeah.
was different post high school. And I do wonder if our high school season rankings will match.
I know.
They might be identical. We'll see. We're about to find out.
So I think it's Claire's turn to start with.
So for my number 4, I had season 2.
Interesting.
You did not, I take
No,
it.
it's my season 2 is my number 3.
Okay.
Which again, that shocked me when I did that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Season 2. It's we pick up the second half of junior year for them. Nathan and Haley have just gotten married. And immediately there's trouble in paradise because Chris Keller comes to town and he's shaking things up.
Love it.
He's taking Haley out on tour and trying to steal her away from Nathan. They do that thing where they're like, it's season 2, we got to bring in new characters. So besides Chris Keller, who I think in a different world could have worked, and he works when he comes back, I think. He's like a fun character. Felix and Anna.
Ugh.
Not good.
Felix, so bad.
Felix especially.
Anna, I was fine with. I
Yeah.
could have had her like stick around a little bit.
Yeah.
But Felix, again, they gave him too many storylines. He was like in it too much.
Yeah.
And it just like was not working. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And I just feel like even the people on the show like hated Felix too.
Yeah. Felix was. I was reading through some other like rankings, like some Vulture rankings, Collider, just to sort of see where my opinions.
Claire was
matched up.
doing her homework.
I like to prepare, and what they were saying was that it was hard to buy that Brooke Davis would ever fall for a guy like Felix.
I know.
Like would have his number so quickly, and she kind of did, but then like I think she was just, we'll say that she was feeling insecure post Lucas debacle.
Yeah.
And that's why she let Felix in, because realistically she would never lower herself to be with that man.
Definitely not. So season 2 for me, which I have as number 3, which I was kind of surprised that I did put this at number 3, because when season 2 was airing, like the breakup of Nathan and Haley and them being apart gutted me. Like I was like depressed. Like I was so sad that they were apart, which although I supported Haley going on tour, I was like, girl got an opportunity to go on tour. You got to go do that. And I was like, why can't they just make this work for a couple weeks? It's like a 10-week tour, like make it work. But, so the second half of season 2, fully just like destroyed me emotionally. But I will say, I love the early episodes of season 2. Like, I feel like before like Felix and Anna come in, like we get the explanation of like how Nathan and Haley got married. We have like their wedding party. We have like just these like really fun episodes of the whole gang being together. They do like bachelorette nights. I just like love those early season 2 episodes. We get a dare night episode where it's like you really feel like they're actually in high school. Jake comes back later on in season 2. That's the only thing I like about later season 2.
I had Jake as one of the bright spots of my season 2.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot more Jake in season 2.
And then what I also love about season 2 is the progression of Brooke in this season. Like we have her, becoming student body president. She becomes more than what she ever thought she could be. I like too that it just showed like, Brooke was like the party girl in season 1 and like seemed to like only care about like boys or partying or being rich. And then we really see her like expand herself in season 2. But I feel like it showed like, you can be all the things. Mm-hmm. Like she doesn't necessarily like fully change who she is. She doesn't like become this like super smart bookworm person.
Right.
Like she just becomes like, somebody who like reaches for more in this life and thinks that they can achieve things.
She allows herself to be more than just like this pretty popular slutty cheerleader.
Exactly.
Which is how she thought of herself in season 1.
Yeah.
At the beginning of season 1 especially.
And I think I just like though that it's like she still was this like popular cheerleader who was like fun, but knew that she could like accomplish more. It wasn't like she completely changed her personality or something like that. And we like really had not seen that on one of these shows. Right. She just made so much progress in season 2. So I really love that aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing I will say about season 2 is that we get Trick.
Love Trick.
Peyton opens Trick with Karen's help, and so we start getting a place for these musical performances instead of, Gavin DeGraw just stops by Karen's cafe and decides to sit down at the piano. Yeah. Like now
and Sheryl Crow.
Yeah, we have a reason for these artists to be playing shows, and there's the kids are at Trick. They're like fights are happening at Trick. We get that scene of Haley when she performs in public for the first time, and
I love that moment.
I love that song. I wish that song was released
again. Leaves are coming down. It's so good. I those episodes, like Trick opening, like there are some really good episodes in season 2.
Yeah.
And I think season 2 ends really well of like, we get a lot of great setups for season 3. Yeah. We get the dealership fire. We get Haley, coming back. We get like Lucas and Brooke, and this is like at the height of their chemistry where you are like, I am feeling Brooke and Lucas. Like, didn't think I would, but that chemistry. Then it all goes to hell. But again, I'm like literally shocked that I ranked, season 2 ahead, like in the top 3, because normally I would say it was the worst high school season, but as I was thinking about it, I was like, I like a lot of these episodes. And I think I'm older now and I can handle Nathan and Haley being apart a little bit.
Well, you also have, that they end up together. So that helps.
That's true.
Makes it easier to take.
True. I think I kind of like the angst a little bit of it too. Of like, a lot, we got them happy enough throughout the series. Like the little bit of angst that we got, I thought was good. Mm-hmm. What I also like about season 2 is like, I love that they had Nathan like fall more for Haley, and it was just kind of fun to see one of these like guys on these shows like really fall hard for a girl.
Yeah,
normally it's like the other way around, and they show the girl being like crazy and like way more into him, and Nathan like really like sacrificed a lot for her and was like,
he
really
gets into a car crash because he's so distraught over Haley.
Love it. Like, that is what I want to see. These men being distraught.
More car crashes.
Yeah.
We got one a season. We don't need any more.
I just thought that was really interesting that they did it that way. And I think that that's partly why, like, people love Nathan's character and love their relationship together, because it's not like when Haley left, he started, like, hooking up with all these cheerleaders and stuff. Like, no, he was, like, depressed, crashing cars, drinking beers, bringing them to school, like, hot. That's what I want in a man.
We want self-destructive behavior out of our partners.
Yeah. When I leave, you better be self-destructive.
Okay, so what was your number 4?
Okay, so my number 4 is season 4.
I had a feeling, and that's my number 3.
Yeah.
So we flipped those.
Yeah. This is my number 4 and the lowest ranked of the high school years, because I feel like this season is where they started to jump the shark a little bit. Like, this is where things for me like start to get a little wackadoo with this show. Like, we get Psycho Derek who's stalking Peyton, which is just like a really bizarre storyline. We have the sex tape of Brooke and Nathan. I did not need that storyline. Like, I just think a lot of the storylines this season flopped, but there is a lot of individual episodes that I love this season. I mean, the state championship game is like one of my favorite of the entire series. It is such a good episode. Yeah. So I feel like the show did kind of like come back down to earth a little bit for like some of these episodes, and they're really good. We get the gang graduating, and they're all like happy when they're graduating. And it's like really beautiful moments of like, again, what it means to like graduate high school and what's next for our lives, and like that energy of like, we can take on the world and like do anything. And like, I really love that. Yeah.
It's really great that final episode where they're all at that house party and Rachel comes back after she graduated.
You love Rachel.
I love Rachel. I just feel like she got
she did.
She got done dirty. That's
she
all.
Did.
No, but like, it's I see it did jump the shark. The point shaving thing, absurd,
so crazy.
Like a lot of ridiculous stuff in season 4, but we do get a lot of really lovely moments, as you said. We get when they all road trip down to bail Mouth out of
Grove.
Yes, like that's a fun episode. The state championship episode has highs and lows. Dan finally gets taken down, and Karen is like, when she's in the prison and she spits at him. Oh my God, that's burned into my brain. It's so good.
Yeah, we get like Lucas like figuring out that Dan killed Keith, like, which is really interesting. And you're like, finally, like this is like getting like
a season
brought
and
up.
a half it took.
I mean, long time. Yeah. Long time. I think like season 4 though, they threw a lot at the wall too. It's like we have like Nathan and Haley who are like having a baby, yet like there's really not that many storylines about it. It's just like
she's just pregnant.
Everyone's fine. She's pregnant. Like their biggest thing is like the money troubles, but like there's no care in the world that they're like having a baby.
Right. They're just like, where are we going to go to college and how are we going to pay for this kid?
Yeah.
And like that's their storyline.
Yeah. And I just feel like, you have Psycho Derek who like is there, comes back, goes away, comes back. Like just, there just was kind of like a lot thrown out the wall. And I feel like there's not a lot of like the gang being all together. I mean, definitely in Honey Grove, and like there are like those episodes.
The second
like
half
that.
of the season gets more of that.
Yeah, but like Brooke also in season 4 is like not the best. They have her completely regress again, and like is sleeping with the teacher. Like it's just like there's some bizarre storylines in season 4. But again, I do think like those moments in those episodes where they kind of like get more grounded again are really good. And one that comes to mind too is like the Pictures of You app where they are paired up with someone else in class.
Yeah.
And they like, you know, have to like interview each other for the class. And it's just like really interesting of, you know, hearing perspectives from different characters, and you really get to know everybody. And it was just like a really good like teen show episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's Claire's number 2.
So my number 2, I think, is going to be your number 2.
Interesting.
Maybe did you?
This will tell us.
I feel like I'm predicting things, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. My number 2 was season 1.
That's also my number 2.
I was like, I would have been on the floor shocked if it wasn't the same top 2 for us.
I know.
Season 1, it introduces us to the show.
It's so good. Like this season for me is super nostalgic and super just like comfy cozy.
Yeah.
Like we're not getting in those crazy storylines yet. It is just like interesting TV of like learning about these characters, seeing them all like start relationships. You get a lot of the adults this season, and like their storylines actually make sense. I do love season 1. Like when I rewatched it, I could not believe how much I loved it, and I almost made it my number 1. I thought about it.
I would listen. That would have been fair because it's where it all began.
Yeah.
I don't know how much there is to say except that's how it started. Like we get to see the very beginning of Nathan and Haley's relationship.
Well, you know I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very sweet. We get the, you know, Lucas, Brooke, Peyton love triangle from pretty early on. It's like episode 7 or 8 when he starts sort of to develop feelings for Brooke.
Yeah, they start moving through things pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty early on.
Yeah. You get a lot of like the Lucas Haley friendship too, which I really love in season 1. Like it is like how they start out the show. And they had this very sweet friendship, and it's like clearly very platonic. Like no one wants them to date.
No, and I appreciate,
which is shocking. Like that is rare, I think, in one of these shows.
And the way that they did it, like credit to like the writing and the acting that they just played. Like no, we're just friends. Like there's a moment in the pilot where they're walking down the street, and like Haley says, "Luke, you know I love you," but not in a like Joey loves Dawson kind of way.
Yeah.
And it's like very funny and obviously referential to like Dawson's Creek. But I was like, oh, like thank God that we said it out right. Like
I know.
we're just acknowledging it. Like she's not pining over him. They're just best friends, and they keep it that way. And it's really sweet.
Well, and then it gets so interesting when she starts like have feelings for Nathan, and then they start dating because Lucas and Nathan still hate each other. They're half brothers. They've barely ever spoken. Have never really like had a conversation.
Yeah.
And I thought that dynamic of like Haley dating Nathan and still being best friends with Lucas was just really interesting and felt very real. I mean, thinking about it, the premise of the show is interesting of how it starts out.
It's kind of wackadoo.
I mean, it is like we're introduced to Lucas Scott, who lives in Tree Hill with his mother, single mom, but his dad still lives in the town, and he is in no way, shape, or form a part of his life.
Just disowns him, pretends he doesn't exist.
And Dan Scott has another son, Nathan, And Nathan and Lucas go to the same school.
They're like 3 months apart in age or something like that.
And like have never really spoken or met or anything like that. And they're all just functioning in this town.
Yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose when Lucas joins the basketball team. Because then Nathan and Lucas have to speak.
Yeah. And it's a whole deal. It's just like the thought of like growing up in a small town and not speaking ever to another student in your class, let alone one who you know is like you're related to, is mind-boggling. But like it's fine, like we just accept it.
Also, like somehow the show like does make it work to where like you believe like the tension of like these brothers and like they both have just like major daddy issues.
Yes. They hate each other, even though like neither of them have ever done anything to each other, but there's animosity between them just because the other one exists.
Exactly. So it is kind of like a crazy premise if you're saying it, but like as you're watching it, you just like it works. You get really into it. I love when we start to see Nathan and Lucas like become friends and form that brotherly bond, which like really doesn't happen until the end of the season.
It's like the late in season 1 when they finally call each other brother.
I like that they stretched that out. I thought it's really beautiful. And like I like Lucas early season 1. Like you cannot not love Lucas. You're rooting for him. Like
he's the main character at the beginning.
Sad boy. Not a bad boy though.
No, not a bad boy.
That's why I'm a Nathan girly.
Well, Nathan's the bad boy and Lucas is the sad boy at the beginning.
And Nathan has underlying sadness too.
Oh yes, we get that comes through in later seasons.
It still fits in my trope or my archetype.
She loves her sad boys over there.
So yeah, I do just think season 1 is like pretty magical, honestly.
It's pretty great.
We got our first car crash. What more do you want? You know? You get some. Oh, also Keith is so good in season 1.
Yeah, except for the car crash. Not his finest moment.
Oh, right. Well, he had one beer, Claire. Okay.
Keith is great. We get a lot of Keith in season 1.
It's the only season 1's the only storyline that like works with the parents.
Yeah, because then they don't know what to do with them, and then it just gets zany.
It gets so downhill with the parents from there. Yeah. So it's like such a bright spot when you see like Karen with her like bouncy curls in the cafe. Like I'm like, aw, miss them because you don't really do it through the rest of the series.
No, Karen. Oh, poor Karen.
I know. All right. I'll stop talking about season 1. I forgot we have one left.
Well, tell our listeners, what is our joint number 1 best season of One Tree Hill?
The best season of One Tree Hill is season 3. I feel like this is widely known.
Yes. As I said, I was looking at those rankings and everyone I came across said season 3, number 1.
I think everybody loves season 3 because it's a mixture of like those like beautiful life moments mixed with some of like the high drama that we love in One Tree Hill. Like this season just felt like heightened to me. Like we come back and right away in season 3, everyone has a new bedroom. Like they must have gotten a bigger budget on season 3 because it's like everyone gets a new bedroom. The music is so good in season 3. Like there's clearly like more money is being spent and you notice it. And it's like, it's just such like early season 3 is so fun. We get beach parties. We get fantasy boy drafts. We get, basketball is back. We didn't get basketball in season 2. So I think it like brings back the show like to those moments like Nathan and Lucas hate each other again. Like we get that. Right. We get like a lot of angst between Nathan and Haley. Like will they get back together? It is just such a good season. Like it like literally like this is the season of like the height of my fandom too, where I was just like watching every episode right on time, rewatching the next morning before school again. Like I was invested and it was paying off.
It was firing on all cylinders.
It was.
Like every storyline was like a must watch. Yeah. It was so compelling all the way through. You're getting development with all the characters. There's tensions. There's shifting like friendships. Like, Haley has to move in with Brooke, and that's a new dynamic that we didn't really get before.
Love that storyline.
It's
like
so
I love Haley and Brooke.
Yes.
And like I love that we didn't see them together till season 3.
No, she just called her tutor girl like to her face, and now they're like roommates and very good friends because she's fighting with Peyton half the time because Peyton, the whole triangle with Lucas.
And like the Haley Brooke dynamic works.
It does.
Like, and they were just really funny together.
Yes.
I loved it. I love them living together.
Yeah, it's great. We also get like some sad moments, like Peyton's mother dies, but that's like a really
the Ellie storyline is so good.
It's so good.
3.
Yeah,
like,
it's sad, but it's really beautiful. We also have to talk about the big moment of season 3.
The big moment.
The school shooting episode,
which then turns into just Dan killing Keith.
Yeah, it starts sort of as a, we bring back Jimmy from season 1, who I forgot about Jimmy, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody did.
And so they bring him back. He is sad and angry and ignored and brings a gun to school. And then, it turns into, like you said, Dan just murders his own brother in cold blood because he thinks that his brother tried to murder him when it was Deb.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, like, they did a great job of the repercussions of that. Are felt throughout season 3 and 4, and they still talk about them in the later seasons.
Yeah, they don't just throw away that storyline, which I appreciate.
They bring it up all the time about, like, Keith is gone, Dan is evil, like, all that stuff.
I mean, it's like, it was a huge moment, like, definitely, and it is, like, probably the biggest moment, like, of the entire series where, like, everything changes. Yeah. It's just like, did we have to kill Keith? Like, I mean, I think it's like they did it for ratings, and it worked. But it's like, I just think that the show would have been better off with Keith still in it.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it just like led the show into like too dark, kind of too. Right. Like it just. I think it led it into a more zany territory of like, oh God, like I knew Dan Scott was a bad guy. I didn't know he was a murderer. Right.
I mean, that's the darkest thing that happens on the show is he murders his brother in cold blood. And it makes it hard because they keep Dan around here and there. He sort of becomes recurring in those later seasons. But how do you have him around when he's kind of irredeemable? Like they try. Yeah. And they try to give him like, at the end he saves Nathan and but still you're just like. They
try and give him some redemption.
He murdered someone. He murdered his brother. And like and it's tough. And then Karen has to raise a second child alone.
Oh, yeah.
She ends up with, it's just, that episode is formative. And I think the episode itself is well done, but it's still like, it's tough.
Yeah, I do think that like the school shooting episode, which was like, no one had really like had an episode out like that in the way that they did
right.
It was like overall a well done episode, and I like that they didn't just throw it away. Like we deal with it for the rest of season 3 and how each character deals with it.
We also should I guess mentions that another great season finale.
I think that might be my favorite episode of the entire series.
It's pretty good.
It's the season 3 finale. Yeah. It's such a good episode.
So Nathan and Haley, they reunite over the course of season 3. They decide to have a big wedding, a proper wedding with everyone invited. Beautiful ceremony, but of course not without its drama. Brooke confronts Peyton and Lucas and how they kiss behind her back, and she basically cuts them both out of her life. And then we get, what do we always get on One Tree Hill?
Car crash.
There we go.
Limo goes into the water.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, it's a great cliffhanger. We also get a cliffhanger of like somebody's pregnant. We don't know who. There's like 4 different possibilities of who could be pregnant. Mm-hmm. It is just a really good episode. We get that speech that Brooke gives Lucas of why don't you ever just let me all the way in? Like it's so just great. Such a good episode. Great. And like a lot of great moments of the entire series.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So
very rewatchable. I think season 3 too had the best music of the entire series.
Yeah, great music moments in season 3.
They had a lot of great bands come in. We get the Friends with Benefit album, which was just a really good album.
Great
we
album.
Get a lot of Fall Out Boy in season 3.
Well, Pete Wentz dates Peyton. Never forget.
Oh my God, he's so bad in it.
It's terrible.
It's bad,
and
but
it's also
fun.
Problematic. But
it's fun.
You're watching back and you're like, different time.
We get Jack's Mannequin. We get Haley James Scott singing Halo, which I love that song.
I will not forget. One day we were watching an episode of season 3 and that scene came on where she's singing Halo and you and I both knew every word without even like trying. Like I was just like, I didn't even have to think about it. It was just buried in my brain. I knew the whole song.
Yeah. Like It is just ingrained in us.
Yeah, it was
so good. Oh my God.
Those formative teen years we spent watching One Tree Hill, and these things just stuck.
It doesn't leave you.
No.
It really doesn't. One Tree Hill has a lasting impact on all of us. All right. Did we do it?
I think we did it. We ranked all 9 seasons of One Tree Hill. Should we recap our full rankings now that we're finished?
Yes.
I'm going to go from best to worst for each of you. Perfect. So for Jillian, her number 1 season is season 3. Number 2, season 1. Number 3 is season 2. Number 4 is season 4. Number 5 is season 5. Number 6 is season 6. Number 7 is season 9. Number 8 is season 7. And number 9 is season 8. And then for Claire, her number 1 is season 3. Number 2 is season 1. Number 3, season 4. Number 4, season 2. Number 5, season 6. Number 6, season 8. Number 7, season 7. Number 8, season 5. And number 9 is season 9.
So our lists were not that far off.
No, I think
we had some differences.
But,
overall, I feel like we had, a lot of similarities too.
of
I
course.
mean, I feel like if either of us had not picked season 3 to be the number 1 season,
we'd be fired.
claws would be coming out. Yeah. I would have been floored.
Exactly.
I just want to go back and rewatch season 3 right now. It's so good. I feel like we really just scratched the surface today. There is so much more we can talk about with One Tree Hill. I'm already thinking did I say everything I wanted to do about season 3? I have so many thoughts.
We could do multiple episodes on season 3.
So yeah, we will definitely be doing more episodes on One Tree Hill. Don't worry, listeners. You'll be hearing a lot from me on this one. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Rate and review us, like and subscribe. You can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram at previously on _teen TV.
Thanks for listening.